Technical difficulties. Growing up in a household where financial extravagance was more of an urban legend than reality, my family learned to savor life's simpler joys like finding the perfect watermelon at the grocery store or realizing we had just enough duct tape to patch up whatever questionable DIY project my dad had been working on. However, one unfortunate side effect of this frugal lifestyle was that we remained blissfully ignorant of modern technological advancements, preferring instead to navigate life with the tried and true methods of our ancestors. One fateful year, though, my parents decided it was time for a tiny leap into modern luxury. Because of their drafty house, their one grand technological upgrade, an electric mattress cover. Now, this wasn't just any mattress cover. The idea was simple. Plug it in, let it warm up, and experience the unparalleled delight of slipping into a bed that didn't feel like the inside of a freezer. Naturally, Mom was beside herself with excitement. Who knew that warmth could be preloaded into a bed? The pièce de résistance was dual controllers, one for Mom and one for Dad. They were now proud owners of personalized temperature settings, luxury at its finest. Dad took the honor of setting up this futuristic gift while Mom eagerly awaited her turn to bask in its electric coziness. Dad climbed into bed first, giving his controller a few test clicks before mumbling a satisfied, success. It worked. Modern technology had finally entered the household and Dad was its first beneficiary. Then came Mom's turn. She slid under the covers, anticipation bubbling as she reached for her controller. She turned up the dial a smidge. Nothing. After giving it plenty of time, she turned it up a little more. Still nothing. Confused, she cranked it up as far as it would go, fully expecting to be enveloped in a blanket of glorious electric-induced warmth. What she got instead was Dad leaping out of the bed like he'd just been struck by lightning. My ass is on fire, he howled, flailing in a way that suggested his entire lower body had become an inferno of technological betrayal. Turns out, in true showcase of my folks' utter lack of technical know-how, Dad had wired the controllers crossed. The one in Mom's hand controlled Dad's side of the bed, while his controller, now abandoned on the nightstand, had been controlling Mom's side. So, when she had lovingly cranked the heat up to maximum level, Dad essentially had been slow roasting like a holiday ham. Mom, meanwhile, remained disappointingly cold. They spent the next few minutes trying to recover from the hilarity of it all, with Dad rubbing his scorched backside and Mom laughing so hard she couldn't breathe. Proof that they just can't be trusted with even the simplest technology. There are other examples as well, like the time Dad sat there trying to work the old corded remote for his videotape machine, wondering why it wasn't controlling the video. He went up to the machine, unplugged the cord, then plugged it back in, studied it for a very long time. He even went as far as to do the unthinkable. He opened the instruction manual to see if they had a troubleshooting guide. After a time, and a few choice words of encouragement for the machine, Dad could hear an odd noise coming from behind his chair. He got up and looked behind, and our new puppy was behind the chair with one loop of the overly long cord in its mouth, chewing away. That remote never worked again. Or the day that my folks got their first dishwasher. Well, new to them. They read the instructions, also known in our house as the destructions, and then loaded it only to pull up a set of kitchen chairs and watch it throughout its whole cycle. My brother said, "You didn't buy a dishwasher, you bought an entertainment center." Yes, they were slow to adopt new technology, definite Luddites. Finally, there was the time that my sister and her kids witnessed the battle of wills where two forces collide, each unwavering in their commitment to be right. The players, Rita, Grandpa's significant other, armed with a healthy dose of skepticism and an unwillingness to tolerate nonsense, and a fully automated phone menu programmed to follow rigid instructions without an ounce of human emotion. It was supposed to be a quick call, just a simple inquiry, but fate had other plans. Rita dialed the number, expecting to be greeted by a friendly voice. Instead, she got the robot. You know the one. The cold, monotone, emotionless voice. The kind that politely but firmly demands that you press 1 for sales or press 2 for support. Rita wasn't having it. She scoffed loudly. Then, with the sheer confidence of someone who had absolutely no clue she was yelling at a machine, she snapped, "Why are you talking like that? You sound so rude." Silence. The phone menu continued, oblivious to her exasperation. "You sound like a machine," she continued, now deeply offended. The kids watching, wide-eyed in disbelief, were dying with laughter. They knew exactly what happened. The realization that Rita had absolutely no idea she was talking to a pre-recorded phone menu sent them straight into fits of giggles. Meanwhile, Rita remained completely unfazed. The voice on the other end calmly suggested, "Press 0 to speak to a representative." Big mistake. That was the moment Rita's patience officially expired. "No, I certainly will not be pressing 0. I won't be pressing anything. I want to know." And then she launched into a dramatic monologue demanding answers from a machine that unfortunately for her was programmed to ignore emotional outbursts. By now the kids were on the floor laughing, barely breathing, wiping tears from their eyes. Rita, still deeply unsatisfied, eventually hung up on the woman, who was, let's remember, an unfeeling algorithm, and turned to the room expecting sympathy. What she got instead was a chorus of uncontrollable laughter. Still confused, she narrowed her eyes at everyone, waiting for an explanation. When she finally figured out that she'd been passionately arguing with a robot, she was not impressed, not even a little bit. The machine had won this round. Have you ever had a technological trauma or digital discord? Please share a few examples in the comments for the enjoyment of all. I hope you enjoyed this hilarious episode of Electronic Eccentricity as much as we did. I hope this story was good enough to encourage you to click on the little subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Well, what are you waiting for? I'll give you 3 seconds to do so now. Thank you so much. That really helps get my stories into the hands of more people who may have a better day just because of them. I'll sign off now, while you also click the thumbs up button at the bottom. See you next time.